Oh, sorry.
So it sounds like they educated the women now.
Ameera, I have a question.
Damn. Okay, dog. Go ahead.
I just have a question because she said it's the internet. So, do you think it's like more educated women now to the point where they're outnumbering the educated men? Or is it just really the internet that's changing the way they go about things? Because I was thinking, like, if they never can use their money for, well, the men can't use their money. So if they have enough money to buy themselves these things, were they always expecting their men to come with more?
For
Or is it
us,
how they're going about it?
the men's don't really care about the woman's education, and also they don't really care about men's education. For men, they want to be rich, they want to have money, because the reason that for that is not it's not always for a shallow reason. They want to be able to provide, they
Yeah.
want to have their family be okay, they just want to have money. And you could have the most uneducated man who works in uh, the you guys don't do you know Aramco? Do you guys know Aramco? Aramco is the oil company that gives the oil to BP, Shell, Texaco, all of them. So if you're an uneducated man, but you work for Aramco, you're going to be rich, you're going to be flashy, you're going to have your Bentleys and all that. It doesn't really matter if you're educated or not. If he finds a woman who's educated, that's even better. But it's not a competition like it is in the West, where a lot of women are in competition with the men because of education. Over there, it's not it's not a competition, it's more like demand.
So before social media, would a woman marry a man that is making less than her?
She is okay. You're saying like if a woman is already working and she's already making money, her family would not permit her to suffer if it's possible for her to not suffer. It's not really her choice at that point if it's her marriage, her first marriage, because they're not going to let her get married to someone who is struggling unless she completely demands it and says that they're going to be okay because he's going to find someone in the future. Some people do marry for love, but the majority of families will not give their daughter off to a man who isn't
Well, what if
stable.
he isn't like? What if he's stable, but he just makes less than her?
That's fine. That's
Okay,
fine. That's
that's what I was
fine.
questioning. And you feel like social media has changed it to where they're like, no, I want because the Western image is now getting over to them. So now they're like being more bratty about it.
No, we've had this from the beginning of time. Like a
Uh,
lot of
I'm
Americans
saying
didn't
that
know how rich we were even like before, but we've been like this from the beginning of time. Even when it was just like a spice, saffron spice. The saffron spice is the most expensive spice in the world, but Arabs use it all the time just to be like flashy. Like I can use saffron. Like it's just something so. The Silk Road, the time when they had the Silk Road going through Turkey and Middle East into China, that was a flex back then. Before you even had social media, we're like, oh, I have saffron in my kitchen. You don't. It's always been like this from the beginning of time with Arabs.
I was about to say, die. You don't see no damn Bentleys and Ferraris just rolling up and down the streets. You may see a Hyundai, a Honda, a Ford, but we don't got that type of stuff. There's a reason why there's a billionaires playground over there. We do not have that. Shit, our flash is a Ford is a Ford pickup truck or a GMC or some shit. You see one of those, you know that person got some money.
do they have any numbers on like the men to women there, as far as like the rich, like the ratio of men to women?
What do you mean?
Did they talk about that in the video at all? Because I didn't see the first video. Like the ratio of
No,
rich
no, they
men
haven't
to
talked
rich
about it.
women.
I don't think they're going to talk about it, but I am going to play this next clip and then we'll dive a little deeper into it.
Women in Qatar. Beneath the dazzling skyline and shimmering affluence of Qatar lies a quieter, more somber reality. For many Qatari women, the pursuit of love and companionship has become an increasingly elusive goal. Despite the country's extraordinary progress in education, infrastructure, and gender equality, the deeply ingrained cultural expectations surrounding marriage present challenges that wealth and modernity alone cannot resolve. Marriage in Qatar is more than a union between two individuals. It is a cornerstone of societal identity. Historically, families have placed immense emphasis on preserving lineage and tribal connections through carefully arranged marriages. These traditions are seen as a way to maintain the integrity of Qatari culture, but they often come at a cost.
So they having some marriage issues over there too. Shan,
Yes.
what you thinking so far over there?
I mean, I'm just listening. I mean, again, it's not my area of expertise. I'm just listening to the video, learning more,
Expertise.
waiting to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead and jump in. Just how you feeling. I mean, I remember I told you kind of keep in mind about the Western culture and how it is over there. You know, are you seeing some similarities? Can you relate?
Can I relate to?
Yeah, man, you just been there. But go ahead, Ameera.
I can't even relate to half the people over here. What the hell? I'm just
What I was saying was glass ceiling when it comes to women's careers. That's where women get stopped. When he's talking about the pursuit of love and everything, there is a glass ceiling that is a lot lower than for American women's. American women's glass ceiling is like not being able to be the CEO. Arab women's glass ceiling is a lot lower. You need to always remember your place. You're still a woman, even though you're a doctor. You're still a woman. So, don't get too excited.
Do you think it's a push for women's to break that glass ceiling? Like, is there a movement, a strong movement, in your opinion, to push that to break the ceiling?
There is. In Saudi Arabia, they have the princess of Saudi Arabia, Ameera. Her name is Ameera. She was the one who was breaking that ceiling, saying that it's old tradition to keep women back just because they're women. We are not going to keep not educating women because they're poor. Because in poor families, they don't educate the women because it's a waste of money. You can just get her married instead of putting her through school and wasting our time. So yeah, the princess of Saudi Arabia, Ameera, said that, and yeah, there is some women's rights and stuff like that.
You think?
I commend, first of all, I commend them and their culture on the emphasis on education and pushing that forward, right? I think that they're running into the paradox that a lot of the men complain about in regards to, like she said, the spoiled brattiness. Like, in general, that's not a characteristic that men, even like in America, I don't want to date women with that personality trait. I've made it my life choice to avoid them. No matter how much money I have or did not have, I was not dating those type of women. Like, I tried a little bit in my 20s because I met some cold, thick ones. But then it was like, man, I can't do this shit, bro. Like, I can't do this. The CEO of ING, I don't know if you know what that insurance company is. I dated his daughter for a little while. Couldn't do that shit. Like, it wasn't for me. Like I say, it wasn't for me. But I think we at the precipice of men having to come to terms with if women, if masculinity is gonna no longer be defined by the money you make or your career specifically, then you got to bring other things to the table in America. And that may become an issue there as well, where it's not just going to be based on being a good man and what you bring. Like, you're going to have to excel in some other things, you know, like actually relating to them, being able to be, because Ameera said earlier that they might not have interactions that are as personal with the women. So it makes it difficult for them to learn how to talk to women and all of those things. So you mix that dynamic with women's romanticism that they see online, on television shows, on their favorite soap operas, and what they think the interaction with men should be like, and you pair them with the inexperienced man, and that's going to create chaos within a relationship, because he can't live up to this expectation that she would have in her mind, and vice versa for the man. If he has an expectation on what he wants her to be, and she sees herself. That's why I asked the question about fighting for women's civil rights and all those things. If she sees herself as an advocate for women's rights, a lot of times that juxtaposes them against family structures, because that advocation usually means that they feel men are demeaning to them, and they're fighting against the patriarchy. They're fighting against men. And when you have that type of dynamic, it's almost impossible to be in a relationship unless you can hang that at the door and never bring it in the house. But if she truly believes it enough to get active with it, it's embedded in her, and it's hard to build a family with that type of mentality in any culture.